What is the ruling on nasheeds?
You see, the problem with the nasheeds nowadays is that it's become musical instruments are being used inside it, and they call it nasheeds. That's the first one, and that we already spoke about in the podcast of music. If it's got musical instruments, it falls under prohibited. It becomes a music, which we already spoke about. Walillahi alhamdu wal minna. The second part is that the nasheed is called nasheed al-Islami, which basically the person is trying to get closer to Allah by it. And this becomes an innovation. It's taking a path and a tariqah where the person is trying to get closer to Allah by it, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, we're left with if the person is using their voice in a way that's beautiful, but it's not cutting it up in a way that it's, they're not following a rhythm. This, inshallah ta'ala, we can't say it's haram unless the person is doing this and it's become the way they do things, always just doing this, and it's taken away from their remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's getting in the way of the recitation of the Quran and etc. That makes it haram, for example. Also, if the person is using their mouth, like it is تشبه صوت الآلات الموسيقية, but it resembles the musical instruments.
Yeah, that's very common, yeah.
Like, for example, beatboxing, for example. Or even when you hear it, somebody in the back is just making noise that is called an a cappella. Some people, they take it, they put it in the computer. It's their voice, like in.
Okay.
And then no instruments that was used. But the voice gets put...
Auto-tune, right? Yeah, that's what you're talking about, yeah.
So all of this, la shakka wala rayb, it's musical instruments. Those types are not allowed. And when you look at the kalam of the ulama, you realize that their conditioning of it is, number one, there is nothing haram in your vocabulary that you're using. The second one is, there isn't no musical instrument. Number three is the sound that's coming out of your mouth doesn't resemble the musical instruments. Number four is, it shouldn't be your norms every time. This is who you are, as some of them call themselves, nasheed artists. This is not permissible as well, because it takes you away from the recitation of the Quran, calling the people to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Number five is, it shouldn't be women who are standing in front of men who are reading it, women's voices, for example. It shouldn't be that. Also, the person should stay away from words which are raqiqa, words which are fitna for the people, which kind of resembles the fusaq, what kind of ways that they talk. If it's all of those are not there, and it's also not trying to get closer to Allah by it, then inshallah ta'ala it should, because it can't be a form of da'wah.
Okay.
The means of da'wah, we already spoke about it. It's tawqifiyya. It's closed. You can't do da'wah through anasheeds.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people call it anasheed al-Islamiyya. They call it al-Islamiyya because they want to get closer to Allah. No, we don't believe you get closer to Allah by doing this.